Okay, so back when I was in high school, one thing I do realize is that there was a lot of fat chicks in my high school. And I know a lot of people right now in the comments down below are probably going to be like, oh, Bubba, you shouldn't make fun of fat people. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. I will make fun of fat people. And honestly, I will tell you this much. I am feeling a little base today. So make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys want more stories like this one. But other than that, let's get straight into it. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba and welcome back to another insane story. So like the title says, yes, this ended up happening to me in the most weirdest way possible. It all starts back when I was in grade 9. You see, in grade 9, I was taking a theater class. And the reason I was taking theater is because I had a really bad stutter back when I was in high school. And in this theater class, I remember partway through the semester, there was a girl in our class who was, well, really obese. Now, I'm not gonna lie, she did get picked on a lot. Not only from me, but from many others. And a lot of people were claiming that, you know, basically all the people that made fun of her were fat phobic and that the leadership team and the LGBTQ community would like be there and support her and stuff. When in reality, I think the only thing that needed support was for her to hit the damn gym. But other than that, I remember back when I was in high school, I was like pretty skinny, I'm not gonna lie. And she would always like try to make a comeback at me saying, oh, like you're anorexic. Yeah, but at least I can walk without making a stomp on the ground is what I would usually say. I'm not gonna lie. After that comment though, I did end up getting in trouble and going to the principal's office. And so I remember one day out of nowhere, I remember in the middle of theater class, I was talking to this girl that was apparently friends with the fat girl in our theater class. And basically she was telling me how, you know, she was picked on her whole entire life and the only way she resolved to herself was stress eating. Now me, I never understood stress eating. Like when I'm stressed out about something, I try to figure out a way to fix the problem, but I guess eating is an alternative for some people. So I remember I basically ended up saying like how I would basically start being nice to the girl and that I will stop picking on her. Even though I kept doing it in my head, I knew it was probably not right for me to make fun of her and kept saying it. So I remember one time in theater class, me and her, we ended up pairing up for a project where we had to like speak lines to each other and like do like some kind of, I don't know, role play sort of thing. And I remember basically me and her, we ended up doing a scenario where we were a couple. So me, obviously, I ended up doing my role and I'm not gonna lie, in theater, I aced it. I was really good at acting like something I'm not. But anyways, going on, I remember when me and her, we were like basically going through the lines, she ended up saying something that really made me feel queasy. She ended up saying, oh, like, do you want to like make out during one of the scenes? Wait, what? Is what I said. To be honest, now a lot of people might call me fat phobic for this, but every time I looked at her mouth, I always felt like she was gonna eat me. And not to mention, she weighed double my body weight back in high school. So obviously for me, I decided to like kind of like tell her no, like, you know, I'm not really like interested in doing that. And she took that offensively. I remember right after I said no to her, she ended up going to the teacher saying, oh my goodness, Bubba doesn't want to be my partner. He doesn't want to fit the role properly. He's literally gonna make me fail this project. Can I change my partner? What do you mean I'm gonna make you fail the project? You want to kiss me is what I ended up saying. And the teacher ended up sending me back to the principal's office just because her feelings were gonna get hurt if I didn't. It's crazy how some people get their way just because they have a problem with themselves. Anyways, I remember later on that week when it was lunchtime, I was basically sitting down eating my grilled cheese sandwich that my mom made me. And as I was eating it, I remember out of nowhere, I ended up seeing my friend walk up to me saying, yo, Bubba, I got some crazy news to tell you, bro. You're gonna laugh at this. And I ended up asking him, oh, like what's going on? He ended up telling me that apparently out of nowhere that the fat girl in our theater class ended up having a crush on me. Now, don't get me wrong. I do appreciate that, you know, there are girls out there that have a crush on me. But at the same time, if I'm not interested in you whatsoever and even gone to the point of making fun of you, why in the world do you have a crush on me? So I remember I looked at my friend and told him, bro, you gotta be pranking me, right? And right as you know it, out of nowhere, on the left side of the cafeteria near the entrance, I ended up seeing the fat girl looking at me and basically waving at me in the most weirdest way possible. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I basically at that point almost puked up my grilled cheese sandwich that I was enjoying so much. But at the same time though, I didn't want to be mean, so I ended up waving back. When I waved back, I remember she ended up giggling, freaking out, and stomping her way to the theater classroom since that was our next class. At that point, I knew if I went to theater, something bad's gonna happen, and I don't want it to happen, but you know what? It is what it is. I remember the bell rang for lunch to be over and I ended up going to my theater classroom. And when I walked inside, I remember I saw all the students sitting in a circle waiting for the teacher. And apparently for some reason, the teacher wasn't actually there. We don't know where the teacher went. I have no idea what happened to her, but for some reason the teacher didn't show up. So basically from there, I remember me and the class decided to do something to basically wait for the teacher. Some kids wanted to do exercises. Some kids wanted to do their own homework that they missed out on. But then out of nowhere, I ended up hearing the the fat girl in our classroom yell,
Oh my goodness, I have a great idea. Why don't we like all play like truth or dare?
what is what I ended up saying. And that's when I knew things were gonna go south. Basically, I remember right after she ended up yelling that we should play truth or dare, I was kind of freaking out thinking this is probably the dumbest idea ever. Because obviously I don't want to play truth or dare with a fat girl, right? Because that could lead to a lot of things. And from all the times I play truth or dare, it usually ends up me being in a bedroom with them doing the
Devil's Tango.
But basically, I remember from there, we all ended up sitting in a circle, feeling bad for the fat girl because no one really listened to her. So we ended up just listening to her anyway because out of pity, I guess. And when we all sat in a circle, I remember we all ended up basically playing this game. We all ended up going around saying truth or dare. Some dares were like, you know, lick the wall. Some were like throw a chair at a door or something. I don't know. We ended up doing a lot of dumb stuff. But at the same time, we were only in high school. And then I remember afterwards, right after that whole thing happened, the fat girl ended up asking me a question saying,
Okay, Bubba, a truth or dare?
I remember I looked at her and I knew if I said dare, she's gonna make me go under her rules or something. So I ended up saying, I'll take truth. Is what I ended up saying. And she ended up looking at me saying,
Okay, what's your favorite feature about me?
as much as I wanted to say nothing at all, I basically ended up saying how I liked her shirt. And then she ended up responding back saying,
Oh, I bet you'll like it off, don't you?
and ended up basically raising her eyebrows at me in the most awkward way possible. At this point, I was really actually willing to gurp in my mouth and just basically end this whole game and I don't know, maybe just figure out something else. But after a while, a lot of people started getting the hint that this girl liked me, you know, the really obese one in our classroom. So my buddy thought it was funny to basically ask her to do a dare to basically kiss me in front of everyone. I remember I ended up basically standing up saying, no, I am not doing this whatsoever. And out of nowhere, a rhinoceros ended up walking up to me, aka the fat girl, and ended up basically kissing me on the lips. But not only that, I ended up tumbling and falling on my back while she laid on top of me, and I almost ran out of oxygen and passed out. I thought I was gonna die. I was literally suffocating. But as she was laying on top of me, I remember this girl ended up putting her hand, her giant, enormous Dwayne The Rock Johnson hands on my eggplant. She literally grabbed it and squeezed as she was laying on top of me. Now, at this point, I don't know what was suffocating more, me or my eggplant, but I knew I was gonna die. I remember everyone in the classroom was just kind of staring at us thinking, whoa, like, was this supposed to happen? And basically thinking that this was like some kind of romantic scene in a movie. But that wasn't even the worst part. I remember the teacher ended up walking in, our theater teacher that was supposed to be there a long time ago, ends up walking in and saying, oh, are you guys like practicing for a scene? Are you trolling right now? In my mind, I was thinking, what scene could we possibly be practicing? Like 365 days of obesity? At this point, I knew I was literally suffocating and I didn't know what to do. So I remember out of nowhere, I decided to do the one thing that almost every female would basically stay away from, and that was farting. Yes, I literally decided to fart as loud as I can. And since my butt was facing the ground, you already know the ground trembled. I remember everyone ended up hearing my fart and they all looked at me saying, oh my goodness, Bubba, did you fart? And at that point, I remember the fat chick ended up finally letting go of my eggplant that was enormous. And she literally said,
Oh, Bubba, you're so stinky.
and basically ended up running away. Thank God that was the tactic to get her running away from me, because honestly, at that point, I knew my farts were a savior. My farts saved the day. Now, one thing I will mention before ending this story is that I don't condone bullying, but at the same time, if you need to bully someone to get their way, probably for the best. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.